Hey guys, welcome back. It's Dan. I wanted to talk a little bit about the use of toys in miniature wargaming. And this is nothing new. I mean, I think for many of us, the reason we gravitate back toward miniature wargaming at all is memories of playing with figures and toys from childhood, right? There's some nostalgic connection there. However, given that toys are readily abundant at a lot of places like Walmart, Target, other stores, and the fact that they are usually pretty cheap, I have not made a habit of it, but I have on several occasions picked up some toys for use in wargaming, and I wanted to share a couple of thoughts about when I've done that and some of the things I look out for when I'm doing it. So what you're looking at in front of you are two finished miniatures that I made using elephant toys. So these are plastic elephant toys that were actually just in the drawer of, animal toys that my kids have. My kids are all starting to get a little bit older and no longer really just playing with safari animal toys. And so, yeah, I pulled these out, painted them up, and then added, it's from the Carthaginian set. I think they sell them separately as well, but these are Numidians from Victrix. So I added these to the base. Why did I choose these? So the first thing I look for when I'm dealing with toys, I generally deal with like animals exclusively. Like I wouldn't get a toy of a human at this scale just because the detail won't look quite right. But certainly for things like elephants, I've picked up wolves, cows, oxen, that kind of stuff. Scale is really important. So you have to have in your mind how big it's going to be relevant to the miniatures that you're playing with, depending on what scale you play at. So I typically play at 28 millimeters, like 1/48 scale. So these look reasonable enough as small elephants to me. Also, the type of plastic is really important when you're doing this. Here, I've got another one here. Speaking of scale, so like this one is too big, and I picked it up, I think, at Walmart. And when I got it home, I was like, oh, damn, that's way too big. However, the reason I picked it up is because the plastic type is correct. A lot of toys you'll find come as like a soft plastic, kind of like what you might have dealt with Army Men when you were young, or maybe you still have them. No judgment on that. But what you want to look for is much closer to what you deal with any plastic miniatures that you might have. So give it a feel and make sure that the plastic is hard. But again, back to scale, this one is too large. I might use it like with my goblins as some kind of rhino monster, like with a howdah on the back or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but again, because this thing I think was like $2 US, so it's usually, for me anyway, like worth the risk to like pick it up, take it home, and see if the scale is what I thought it was. In that case, it wasn't, but it might get repurposed for something else. And again, the plastic consistency was correct. Also, I look for details that, how do I word this? Details that I think would paint up well. So, like for example, with these elephants, they came as just like solid gray plastic. However, I saw like on the skin, and you can see how it picked up here with the shading, that there were a lot of nice details that picked up really nicely with a dry brush and just a little bit of highlighting. And I think that the repaint is really important. These are names of some friends of mine on the 9th Age forums that I painted these in homage to. However, I think that the repaint is a really important aspect of this with any toy. Like even if it's a pre-painted toy, I think in order to elevate it, if you will, to the level of being something that you would play with on a tabletop, I think repainting is really important. So again, looking out for anything that might have details similar to what you would look for in purchasing, let's say, a plastic miniature, I think help a lot. And then the final component, and let me bring out another one that I've got. This was actually from like a set of toy dinosaurs that I got for my son. This is nowhere near completed. I just started doing some resculpting work here. I've had it kind of bouncing around in my hobby box for a couple of years now. Just got to go through and finish it, do some green stuff work here. However, I found too that if you have the ability to, modifying them in some way, like adding in miniatures, the destination for this is that I'm going to have a mounted knight on top of it, like Warhammer Lustrian Conquistador kind of knight riding on this Carnosaur, because I feel that adding in miniatures to a toy helps with the illusion a little bit. Like if it were just this elephant, sorry to keep moving things around here, but if it were just this elephant, yeah, it would look convincing enough as an elephant, but I don't know. I think that by adding in actual miniatures that were designed as sold as miniatures to something like a toy help to sell it a little bit more as a miniature for use in tabletop wargaming. So it's the same thing here where, again, it was a toy. The pose, like the reason I cut the tail down is because the pose was like way up high, like you might expect with a toy dinosaur. And I thought that by changing the pose a little bit, I'll go through and I'll add some bits to it that are from actual miniature sets. I think that once this is done and painted up, it will look pretty cool on the tabletop. So again, just a little quick video sharing some thoughts. I'll see if I can scrounge up. I have pictures somewhere of a scratch build I did of like a Viking chariot that was also using toy cattle. That all the same principles applied there as they do here, but that was, I think all of us maybe went a little bit crazy during COVID, and that was a COVID project of mine when here in the States we were on lockdown. So anyway, I'll see if I can find those pictures and I'll drop them here at the end. But as I said, I think used sparingly, if you're thoughtful about it, toys can be a really excellent addition to your miniature collection. So anyway, with that, thanks again for dropping by, and until next time, happy gaming, guys.